Hi friends, what's up? It's Jaime here. Okay, so this is the last part of my reading writing advice from Tumblr mini-series. I may come back to it one day, but for now, this is the last part. And for today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a particular Tumblr post that I really liked, that I saved the best for last, which is sad things you can do besides killing a character off. I'm paraphrasing. That's not like the exact title word for word. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. As I mentioned in my last video, you shouldn't just kill a character off because you don't know how to properly wrap up their character arc or because you're trying to spice up the story, but without like really thinking it through. Because character death is permanent. It can have substantial consequences for your story. And so once you've committed to the character death, there's no going back. So if you really want to tug at your audience's heartstrings, but you don't want to kill off a character for whatever reason, here are 4 things you can do besides killing off a character. Number 1 is arguing. Now, arguing might seem like something that's like pretty basic, but I don't know. I think there's just something about where you have 2 characters who have like clearly been pushed to their breaking point, and one or both of them say something that, they just know that they cannot take back. It makes me think of this section in the Folklore Long Pond sessions where Taylor Swift is talking about the song My Tears Ricochet, and how that song reminds her of people going through a divorce, or how in superhero stories often the hero's like greatest nemesis was once their best, closest friend. And like Taylor said, it's because you have these people who are either like once so in love or each other's like best, closest friends that once there's this animosity between them, they know exactly what buttons to push to hurt them the most because they were once their most trusted person. So even though arguing might seem like such a basic thing in comparison to an event like a character death, when done right, it can really hit home in a way that's very painful and heartbreaking. Number 2, betrayal. Now, betrayal is one of those things where I feel like if done well, it can be so painfully effective, but if done poorly, it can read as badly as a poorly done character death. Like, I really hate it when in stories you have this like random character that you almost forgot even existed all of a sudden comes out of the woodworks and is like, I'm betraying you, main character, and then all of a sudden they become like the most important antagonist. Or when the character who's doing the betraying doesn't have a properly written motivation as to why they're doing what they're doing. Like, I don't need there to be this whole extensive like sob story background where the character doing the betraying is being blackmailed or something and that's why they're betraying the main character. Like, I just need a solid reason. Regardless, like, it can paint the character who's doing the betraying in a bad light. Like, that's okay. I don't need them to be like redeemed. There just needs to be a solid reason, a solid motivation as to why they are doing the betraying. When done right, betrayal is devastating. Now, I know a lot of people my age had the whole ugh, Frozen sucks phase, but I really do love both Frozen movies, so you can sue me, I guess. Spoilers for the first Frozen movie if you somehow have not seen it, but when Hans betrays Anna, it's just something about the way that his voice actor, Santino Fontana, delivers that line that just guts me every time I hear it. And I've watched the first Frozen movie 3 times, and it got me every time, even when I knew it was coming. When you have a character that you've really fallen in love with, or you just know how much that character means to the main character, and then they betray them, it just hurts on another level. Going back to what I was talking about in the arguing section, there's something particularly painful about witnessing someone betray someone that they're close to because they know exactly how to hurt them because they're close. Number 3, failure. So when I think about failure in stories that have really like hit home for me, I think about Haikyuu. I think Haikyuu is honestly the perfect example of how failure can be a substitute for character death and be just as painful, because, you know, it's a volleyball anime and people don't die in it. And I know that there's a specific joke in the Haikyuu fandom that Haikyuu fans thinking about when I just said that. And you know what? Shut up. Don't bring it up. Don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. That joke makes me very salty for reasons that I will not get into. Anyway, in an anime about high school boys competing in volleyball tournaments, character deaths are not something that really happens. But something that does happen a lot is failure and loss. The whole jumping off point for the main character Hinata's character arc is that his middle school volleyball team suffers a devastating loss in their first official game. Sorry, that's kind of a spoiler, but also that's the first episode, so sue me. The reason why failure is so particularly devastating in Haikyuu is because you have these characters where they love volleyball so much. Like, volleyball for some of these characters is like their whole life. Their whole life revolves around the game. And so when they train really hard, they give everything they have, they play their best, and they still lose the game. It's heartbreaking. And lastly, we have number 4, which is the character finding out that something they believed in was a lie. Now this one is a personal favorite of mine because it can be something small that doesn't really have like a huge impact on the story at large, or it can be something that like dramatically shifts like the course of the plot. I actually have a few examples of this in like my own stories that I've written, because again, this is like one of my favorite things to do, because I like writing things that are painful. But so without giving too much away, in one of my stories, I have this character who her entire values are built around this one system, right? Only for her to find out that that system that she believes so much in wasn't even real. When you know that it would destroy a character to find out that this one thing that they believed in so much, like, was all a lie, it is like so devastating on another level. It can be something that only affects the character on a personal level, or it can be something so world-shattering that it changes like the way that you fundamentally think about the world that the story is set in. Now, that is all I have for this final episode, once again, of my writing advice from Tumblr series. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and also this little mini series that I've done. Again, I may come back to this one day, but just for now, I kind of just wanted it to be like a little mini series that I thought might be a little fun idea to do. Because this is kind of like the jumping off point. I'm gonna start doing more kind of like little series, like mini series in this kind of way, but they're gonna be different. I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, so again, thank you guys so much for watching this video and the other writing advice from Tumblr videos that I did. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.